Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video. I am back to uploading somewhat regularly the F1 2021 videos, the My Team career mode journey for Cross GT Racing. Before we begin, all the usual stuff, like, comment, share and subscribe, all that lovely stuff. I do enjoy seeing all the comments on the videos. I do appreciate all the support. So thank you, and if you're not already subscribed, please do think about subscribing. Let all your friends know about these videos, because we're going to be getting right in to our facility preparing for the United States Grand Prix. We just came off a big win in Sochi, the Russian Grand Prix. So things are looking pretty good for us heading towards the end of the season. I do think there's four races left, so we're at round 13 now, I do believe. We're currently sitting P3 in the constructors and drivers standings. The constructors standings probably not something we're looking to win at this point. I'm pretty sure we are out of contention for that, but it will set up a good run for the end of this season to get some pretty good cash flow coming in, some pretty big prize money, which will help us for next season. But driver standings, we are actually in with a chance at this point. If we get some good results in the next few races, we could actually take away the Drivers' Championship this season. We've just got the two Mercedes drivers in front of us, Valtteri Bottas currently leading the championship. But yeah, we just got to try and maintain this form that we've had, and we might actually be able to take away a championship this season. As we take a look at our development in our R&D, so we've maxed out aero as we get ready to go to qualifying in the USA. The car's looking pretty good. We've maxed out aero. We are just tying up the last few upgrades for the chassis, and then we're going to have to look at building up the powertrain and durability facility so that we can get Spec 3 upgrades for those. So at this point, the car is sitting third fastest car on the grid, so be interesting to see how we go for the rest of this season as we begin our best qualifying lap here in the USA, the United States Grand Prix, a track that I in the last couple of seasons have had some issues with. As you can see, we just had a bit of a mishap there. The racing line for this one is one that I have a lot of trouble maintaining.
There's only one lap
running wide on quite a few corners there. Luckily for us, our car has got some really good acceleration out of corners. So even if we do mess up some of these corners, I can still get down on the accelerator relatively well. Straight line speed is something that we are lacking a little bit in. But for the most part, it's just the tracks themselves. I'm not very well versed in driving them. I probably should spend some time probably in the Grand Prix or time trial modes so that I can get used to them. But at this point, we're doing pretty well. We're currently sitting P9 as we come through the through Sector 3 now. We've managed to gain a second on our previous time, but again, just missing some of these corners. Some of these corners are quite blind on little rises, so they're kind of hard to tell where you need to make the turn. But ultimately, we finish P13, just behind our teammate David Coulthard in P12. So we are only 0.04 of a second off of our teammate's pace. So we're sitting around about where where we should be. In terms of difficulty and where the car's at. So if Coulthard's getting that much out of the car, then we should be around about the same level. At least that's the way I see it. The two Red Bulls starting off at the front of the grid. We'll see how we go today, see if we can take away some more points.
Here we are then in one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, the fabulous Austin, in the great state of Texas. The circuit itself 14 miles southeast of the city centre and home to the US Grand Prix since 2012. the latest in a long list of iconic tracks to have that honor. We're racing today then in Travis County, Texas, around the 20 corners of the wonderful Circuit of the Americas. We'll be reaching speeds of around 200 miles an hour, and there are plenty of good opportunities to pass, especially through the 2 DRS zones into turn 1 and the very long back straight into turn 12. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about the captain. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, with Pierre Gasly alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Charles Leclerc and Ricciardo, Russell, Norris, Tsunoda and Max Verstappen, David Coulthard, the captain, Carlos Sainz. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Stroll, Giovinazzi, Joe, Nikita Mazepin and Esteban Ocon, Schwartzman, Latifi, they've taken a grid penalty, Mick Schumacher and Christian Lundgaard. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So there's the driver grid for this race. A little bit of a boost there from the commentators talking me up there. I always like to hear it. But the end of the season is always some of the hardest races for me, so it's going to be an interesting next few races, I think. As we take a look at the strategy, we're doing a 2-stop today, 2 sets of softs and then onto the mediums at the end. We want to try and get through the pack as quickly as we can, and then see if we can't maintain it at the end of the race. We need to get some good points on the board today. We're only 28 points behind Bottas as we're off and away here in the USA. And not a very good start for us, although we are going to claim a few positions up the inside here of this very awkward turn 1. Hitting the apex in that corner is always tricky, as the apex is actually just before you reach the bumpers on the side, whatever you call them. I don't know what you call them. But we are currently having some issues handling the car at the moment. We are picking our way back up through the grid as we manage to get past Sainz there. We are now sitting P12 behind Verstappen. Hitting these apexes is very tricky on this track. Something that I am still having problems with even now in Season 3. But we're doing reasonably well here. Maintaining a good position behind Verstappen as we're late on the brakes. Thought we were going to collide with the back of Verstappen's car there, which is not what we want. We do the little over-under to try and get around the inside of Verstappen, but he claims the position back. A little bit of contact there with those rear wheels, but luckily no major damage there. So we're now showing off that acceleration out of the corners there as we get around the inside of Verstappen, but we make a little mistake before we get to the final corner. Down the start finish straight, lap 1 done and dusted. We're now sitting P11, Coulthard P9, our teammate in the points. And here we go, this awkward turn 1, a little bit of a lock up there, getting the right turning point. It's quite an issue that I have had through each season. Lap 5 now, not a lot happening in this race. Everyone's sort of staying in the same position. No one's really making too many moves. We're still sitting P11. Verstappen is still half a second behind us. He's following right along behind us. We're towing him along, or we're slowing him down. One of the two. Norris over a second ahead of us. Coulthard's still in P9, so Coulthard is still sitting in the points at the moment. Another lock up there at that slow left-hander. So we ease off the accelerator there a bit. The tyres are starting to wear. Another lock up there. We go very wide. And again another lock up, braking a big issue for me on this track and most tracks. Especially playing on controller, it's a bit hard to get the braking just right. As Sainz now makes a dart up the inside. Sainz claiming 2 positions this lap, or in the last lap.
Still regain the position.
Verstappen half a second behind us. We're now been dropped to P12. Coasting around some of these corners. These tyres have definitely seen better days. Again, just locking up at most corners. We're managing to take some of these corners a little bit better now than we were previously. Another big lock up there. Yeah, getting the braking right on controllers is something that I'm having a lot of trouble getting used to. But we're just going to have to manage for now. Practice makes perfect, as they say. As Verstappen goes up the inside. We weren't going to defend that one. Verstappen's been tailing us for quite a while now, and these tyres are definitely wearing down. So we're now losing a lot of time in these corners. Not a whole lot of grip. We are still managing to maintain some sort of pace though, as we end up cutting the corner a bit. Our first warning of this race, first track limit warning.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
Okay, so we're going to be going into the pit soon for a second set of soft compound tyres. And we are now sitting P13 as Verstappen's pulling away. We do have it over a second gap to Stroll, but he is slowly gaining on us. Now down to 16th, 17th. So he is gaining a little bit, but we are managing to maintain some distance from him. He's within DRS range, but I think exits out of some of these corners are definitely helping us as he takes a look up the inside there, but can't get it done. He'll be in DRS now. We're not going to defend, we're going to let him go. And Ocon does a little cheeky move up the inside. It forces us way wide because we couldn't turn in earlier. And now we've dropped 2 positions as Ocon actually jumps ahead of Stroll. So Ocon, the ultimate opportunist there, takes two positions in one corner. Which is mimicking real life as we get another warning.
I need you to stop cutting the corners. If you keep it up, the stewards
So we now have, so that was our 3rd warning. So the one before that may have been the 2nd warning.
We've been awarded a time penalty that will go against our finishing time at the end of the race.
Yep. Thanks, Jeff. So now we've got a time penalty, which is not going to help our chances whatsoever. And just as I say that, Giovinazzi now looking up the inside. So these tyres are definitely seen better days. They're definitely on their way out. Too much heavy braking, too many lockups, and we've just worn tyres down a lot. And the racing line is all over the place. But we're going to push on.
The car in front is 1.7 seconds.
We're going to keep pushing. Your tyres are sitting, front tyres 55% and 60% on the left and right. We're sitting P16 now, so we're dropping down the pack into the pits for a new set of tyres. Hopefully they can make a bit of a difference.
Exit now. You'll be racing as you leave the pit. Complete. Go now. Only 1 stop to go. 1 stop left in this strategy.
Right, so we've got one more stop going on to medium compound tyres. Let's see if we can't make up some ground on these fresh softs. We've still got our 3-second time penalty, which we'll get at the end of the race, so we can't serve it in the pits. So we're going to have to try and gain as much time as we can on everyone on track, so we can maximise our points. Again, using every inch of the track we're allowed to use, really pushing those boundaries there. We have to watch out, because if if we keep doing that, we're going to end up just building up the penalties, and then we're definitely going to be having some issues staying in the points, or even getting into the points at this point, as we are currently P19 after that pit stop. I'm sure a lot of other cars are still heading into the pits. Oh, a little bit of a slide there as we go right around the inside of that corner. But these new softs, ton of grip, and we're definitely looking a lot better now, as we managed to catch up to Latifi and Schumacher now. Still P19, lap 11. I think a bunch of the front runners are starting to head into the pits now, so they will be heading on to potentially on well, actually could be anything. They could be going softs, mediums, and there's a corner cutting penalty. I don't know how that's a corner cutting penalty when I went around the outside. I didn't cut across the inside of the corner. I went around the outside to get around Latifi because he pushed me out, but it's just a warning. There's a collision with Schumacher. I thought we were clear of him as well. Oh, and there's another penalty. Just a lack of concentration on that corner, I think, because we were like, there's so much track there to use, and we just ended up going right along the inside. So 6-second penalty now. Verstappen in the pits. He's just come out of the pits now in front of us. He's on mediums, so we should have the pace on him. But even if we don't, we should be able to keep with him, and hopefully he can tow us along, which is essentially what he is doing right now. Lap 14, we're still sitting behind him. He's now right behind Stroll, who's also on medium. So a lot of the drivers now heading onto mediums, potentially going for a one-stop mediums all the way to the end. Their tyre wear numbers will probably be a lot better than mine, as Verstappen makes a move on Stroll. We're now currently P15, but we do have a 6-second time penalty. At this point, if the race would have finished now, we would still finish in P15. We're almost 7 seconds clear of Zhou, as we make a little move up the inside of Stroll, which turns into the outside of the slow left-hander. Still side by side. It turns to the inside for us, and we manage to gain a position. So we're managing to stay with Verstappen. So we're just going to keep on getting him to tow us along. Hitting these corners a little bit better now, and the braking is a little bit smoother. But again, just not the consistency that we need heading around this track. Verstappen now starting to pull away. He's now more than a second in front of us. We need to try and claw that gap back before the next DRS straight. Otherwise, we're going to lose him, and we're going to be stuck on our own. Which is exactly what happens just as we get another corner cutting penalty there, or warning. So that's our second corner cutting warning. So now we are at risk of not only track limit penalties but also corner cutting penalties. So now we're going to have to drive very, very smart, and probably a lot more conservatively. Points looking like a bit of a stretch for us today, but we are sitting P14. We are 7 seconds behind Ocon. Verstappen has just pulled away and now claimed P12.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Okay, so the tyres are holding up a lot better in this stint, so we've managed to get our braking under control, and we aren't wearing the tyres down as much as we were in the first stint. So hopefully they can last a little bit longer.
Give us the best in lap you can.
Okay, so we'll head into the pits. We might stay out another lap. Just sort of depends on how the tyres felt on this lap. And we are going to start for one more lap on the softs. Softs still feeling pretty good. P14. So Coulthard 21 seconds ahead of us, and judging by the map he is sitting P11 at this point, so he's still up there. He's managing to maintain his starting position, which is great for the team, because we do need to make sure we're still getting points, as third in the constructors is where we're sitting. It's where we want to stay.
Okay, watch your pace. We've been informed that the safety car is out. There appears to have been an issue with multiple stopped vehicles on the track. Check your MFD for a new strategy.
Okay, so now we've got ourselves
slow down.
a safety
Your delta
car.
is negative, which means you are too fast.
I'm not
Reduce your pace.
sure what happened there, what caused that safety car, but we'll take it. Judging by the map, no one was really stopped. I don't think it would have been, it may have been some of the front runners, as it looks like the 2 Ferraris and one of the McLarens are heading into the pits now. So I don't know if maybe there was a little bit of a collision there between them. But that only helps us out, as we were planning on heading into the pits this lap, and now we'll be pitting under safety car. So we'll be able to catch back up to the pack and maybe have a really good run towards the end of this lap, or end of the race I should say, as we almost barrel into the guard wall there heading into the pit lane. Luckily we are changing the tyres, because we would have worn down those tyres quite a bit there with that heavy lockup.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Alright, so we okay, so I'm assuming it was the back markers that were all stopped. Or maybe not, the delta's just a bit broken there. We're now sitting P17 with a safety car out, and there are 9 laps to go. Now there's 8 laps to go as the safety car is coming in now. It's that an extra lap. Safety car now coming in as we go a little bit wide there, because I'm trying to warm the tyres up, but Lundgaard is going slow. I don't want to brake too much and wear these tyres down before we go back to the restart. One more corner and we're getting off to racing speed, and we've spun the car off the restart. This was our best chance to get some points, or get up into the points, and off the restart we have spun out.
We won't be making another pit stop.
So now we were sitting P17 in the pack on fresh mediums, and now we are 5 seconds behind Schumacher back in P21 as we hop the little orange sausages there. Luckily no floor damage.
Car in front is 4.6 seconds.
Okay, so we are closing the gap now, and another spin. Oh, new tyres. I obviously didn't warm them up enough. And we've spun again, cold, fresh, medium tyres. Not my friend at the moment. And now we were gaining on them, and now we are, now we're 21 seconds behind, as we've fallen behind even more.
Okay, this is Jeff. I need you to stop.
That's a new one. I haven't seen that one before.
The stewards will award you a penalty.
An illegal time gain on that corner. I just assumed that was corner cutting, but never mind. But 2 spins on our first lap after the safety car went in, and we are now miles behind the rest of the pack. And not only that, we have a 6-second time penalty. No, make that a 9-second time penalty. This race is turning into an absolute nightmare. This USA track,
Stewards have now enabled DRS.
all 3 seasons has been an absolute, just absolutely horrible for our team, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better. And we have awesome pace too. We're back to within 3 seconds of Schumacher, so we've managed to claw back 18 seconds over him, thanks to a pit stop onto fresh medium compound tyres, which I have to say are probably handling a lot better than the softs.
Final lap of the race.
We were actually following a relatively close racing line for most of the stint, and the car just feels better on the mediums. I thought the softs would have been great for this track because of all the really hard turns, but turns out the mediums are probably the tyre to go for on this track. If only we had started on the mediums, and maybe we would have had a much better day. There's a track limit warning there. Not a penalty, which is weird. I'm not sure what's going on there. As we almost clamber into the back of Schumacher. We are now right behind Schumacher. This is the last lap, so We're just racing for pride right now. DRS enabled, and we have the pace over the Haas as Lewis Hamilton has claimed victory here today, which is massive, as he's in second in the driver's standings behind his teammate Valtteri Bottas. We are just racing for pride right now. We've gained a position on Schumacher, but we've got 9 seconds of penalties, so we're probably not going to get a very good finish out of this. But if we can at least cross the finish line before some other cars, that'll help my ego a lot, as we've managed to get up into P18 now. Can we get Giovinazzi before the finish line? It doesn't look like we can. Over the start finish line to end what was an absolute nightmare. Essentially last place, other than the DNF from Nikita Mazepin here today.
That's a spectacular victory then, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So there we have it. United States Grand Prix done and dusted. Thank God. What a nightmare that was for us today. But a great day for Mercedes, taking 1 and 2, and especially Hamilton, as he'll now be closing the gap on his championship rival Valtteri Bottas, who is I think still sitting P1 in the standings. We'll have to wait and see. Coulthard there getting us P8, so another few points coming in for our team. We unfortunately, after 9 seconds of penalties, finish P21. No points for us today, but we are still sitting comfortably in P3 on the drivers' standings. There's now only a 4-point gap between Bottas and Hamilton with 3 races left, so the battle is heating up between the two of them. We are still technically in the fight, but we're going to have to pull out some massive performances in the next 3 races if we have any chance of winning the Drivers' Championship this year. We're still currently sitting P3 in the Constructors. Mercedes claiming the Constructors title today. Red Bull won't be able to catch them. 45 points behind, sorry. We've still got Ferrari and McLaren are still slowly climbing up as well, so we have to watch out for them. But at this point, the 3rd place is still comfortably within our grasp. We just need to make sure we don't lose, just need to make sure we finish the races properly and not have spins and too many penalties. But we'll see what happens in the next few races as we head towards the end of the season. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel. I do really appreciate the support that you guys give me, and hopefully we have a better race next time. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully we don't penalise ourselves out of the points.